Welcome to another video in our video series on scholarly habits for Greek exegesis. Let us consider the scholarly debates that you have about a word in the New Testament. Scholars debate that by looking at the Greek New Testament and determining what the word means in its context. Now, we've been discussing this in a video series up to now, which has looked at what you talk about in these debates. We talk about a lexicon that is scholarly research into the word. You talk about a theological dictionary, which goes into the historical context, the literary context, and tries to get more information. And we learned how to synthesize multiple sources. Maybe you use BDAG, which is a primary source, or Thayer's lexicon, which is a secondary for Greek lexicons. How do you summarize these into a single point? And then we looked at Kittel's Theological Dictionary, Verbrugge, and ISBE, and summarize these into a single thing. Now we're going to take the two parts and merge them together into a synthesis. I think that this is a comparison and contrast. So let's look at this in terms of our ἐπιτιμαω in Luke 17:3, and the pericope in 17:1-4 is a discussion about how you should forgive your brother. Now, when we synthesized the three theological dictionaries in Part 8, we came up with this definition. The Greek classical means to honor, censure, penalize, or raise in price. The noun can mean penalty, honor, value, honor, respect. But in the Septuagint, it's only used with restrictions for human beings. Only if you have a relationship does a father rebuke a son. Does a gleaner be rebuked by a foreigner is not approved unless there's a relationship. And God can rebuke nature, Satan, or human beings because he is the creator. The New Testament forbids rebuke except as creation, and again it underlines only God can use threatening reproof of human beings, of nature, and of demonic. Now, when you compare this with the Greek lexicons, the concepts are the same. Rebuke, correct the human, censure, reproving is God. You have similar Greek usage, honor, shame, judge, reward, free, and the scriptures are 95%. So our context is fairly good. And the passage in Luke 17:3 indicates human rebuke or correction, and so they're supposed to be done gently. So our definition of rebuke or correct gently is aligned with the scriptures. Well, that's all. That's our summarization of the few points. How would we summarize it if we just looked at Thayer and Verbrugge? Again, we would say the same thing. The classical is the honor, censor, penalize, raise, and price. And the noun can mean penalty, value, honor, and respect. And it only restricts ἐπιτιμαω used with human beings. We'd only give two scriptures, Jacob and Ruth, and we'd still underline that the New Testament forbids rebuke as such as correction, and only God can give that name rebuke. And we would note that the theological dictionaries overlap, but that Verbrugge only used Mark and Luke and epistles. So that's important to know. Well, what would we say in the end? We would say the same thing. Verbrugge is to correct a human is to correct gently. To censor or to give scathing reproof is God's. And this concept of honor and shame is important because honor and shame was critical to the Middle East, and it still is. So the passage indicates human rebuke or correct gently, and we would note this is what it means in Luke 7, and that's it. So next time we're going to place the word in the context. I look forward as we continue this discussion on scholarly habits for studies of words in the New Testament. Thank you very much.